Good morning and welcome to the NuSpecian Live. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Aston. Good morning. And I'm having an audio issue.
Are you? We're working on Aston's headphones.
Yeah, but I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, because I'm right here.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I see a bunch of you already in the chat. I'll say good morning to Diana and Suzanne. Hi, NRE. Hi, Donna. Good morning, Fitzgerald. Good morning, Trevor. We always love for you to say good morning, say hi. Even if you don't have a question for today's conversation. Hi, Edley. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I'll put this up for our introduction. So July was NuSpecies' 18th birthday, and we forgot to celebrate. Believe it or not,
we are very focused, and you know how focused we are on your health and you living better and longer.
It's a pretty overwhelming and all-consuming effort to do what we do, and we often forget to like smell the roses and enjoy what we've accomplished. So we want you to help us celebrate today and give us some celebratory remarks if NuSpecies has made a difference in your life, if
your family's life, your friends, your kids, your grandkids.
Let us know, and we want to hear from you. And yeah, if you don't want us to put your comment up or something, then you can just say that in the chat, and I'll just read it and enjoy it ourselves. So with those of you who are new to NuSpecies, before we get into too much celebrating, I will just quickly let you know NuSpecies is a natural health company. We invent and manufacture our own unique line of herbal medicine and plant-based supplements. We also are here to support through our consulting practice, where we help our clients navigate two different worlds of medical and natural. Many of you want to heal naturally, but you are still reliant on medications and medical intervention, and our consulting work helps to guide you.
And then others of you want to do both?
We're only on my shot right now. Sorry, we're on a single shot because Mary's working out some technical issues. No worries. Okay, there we are. We're on the double now. If you want to cut off my introduction and say...
No. I just wanted to say, there those of you who you want to do both the medical and you want to do a NuSpecies, that you want to do the natural, you want a combination of both. And so that's why we're integrative. That's why we're integrative. That's why we're herbal medicine. Oh boy, I'm hearing myself now.
Yeah, feedback.
Thank you, Mary.
Oh, good. Oh, not feedback. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. So we're just happy the last 18 years, or well, let's say we filed for NuSpecies 18 years ago, but about 10 years before that, we were doing NuSpecies. I was doing NuSpecies as a charitable foundation. So that's what became NuSpecies, because of all of the work we've done over the years. So here we are, and integrative practice, because we work with you with your medical records, your blood test reports, your imaging, or the diagnoses from your doctors. We get the notes from your doctors. We talk to your doctors. For a lot of you, we talk, directly with your doctors. We get communication from your doctors. So we're very happy that we have evolved to this point, Joe, where we've helped so many of you around the world, literally around the world. And we are looking forward to doing a lot more to help more people. And we need you to help us. We need you to refer your friends and family like you have been doing, your coworkers, bring your children. A lot of your children are on NuSpecies. So we want to do a whole lot more to help a whole lot more people.
So for those of you who are new to NuSpecies, that is what we do. And we host this Q&A every Saturday at 10 a.m. because many questions come up throughout the week. Not Aston obviously can't talk to all of our clients every time that they have a need. And so you can always join this Q&A and ask us questions live. And we just dedicate this time to you. A good health choice for you may not be a good health choice for someone else. There is no silver bullet for an issue, and there is no one right answer in most cases for everything related to your health. And our consulting practice works through those nuances, works through all the gray areas, and guides you to make the best decisions that you can for yourself. And so we hope you join us every Saturday here. We stream live to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you're seeing us refer to comments that you don't see on your platform, it's just because they're coming from another platform. But mostly everyone does join us from YouTube, and it's where you'll see the most activity there. So we're happy to have you here. We do have some questions already, but we could back up a little bit just to talk a little bit about, when Aston created our first formula. Many of you have heard the story of his experience with his father dying from prostate cancer. And he was thinking very specifically about what other types of medicine can I use to help people not go through what my dad went through.
Right. Herbal medicine.
Right. Well, herbal medicine, but other types. And that's why.
Well, you know what was funny though? What was funny was I was so focused on my dad. He was early diagnosed with prostate cancer. Of course, you all know he died a few years later because the cancer, he did the treatments. Like a lot of you have relatives who have done the chemo treatments or radiation treatments, and some people get better. Let me say that. But for my dad and many others that and I know, we know, the cancer just spread through their bodies because their immune systems were devastated. But while I was thinking about my dad alone, my mom was sitting right there with the complication of diabetes. She lost both legs. She had kidney issues. She had heart issues. She was taking all these medications. And maybe in some ways, yes, my dad died, before she did, but maybe she was suffering even more than my dad because she had all those complications: heart disease, kidney disease, eye issues, lost both legs, amputations to diabetes. So
how many years did she live with diabetes?
She lived many years, probably 30, 35 years. Because diabetes doesn't kill you, as you all know, very quickly. You just take an organ at a time. And when that organ is taken fully, that organ is gone. It's just destroyed. So that's why they call it complications.
So definitely more suffering than your dad.
Many years more suffering. Prostate cancer was the only health issue my dad ever had. He had no other health issue, no diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, nothing, just prostate cancer. And when he was diagnosed, his blood test reports were perfect.
So then over the years where the consulting came into place is that many of our clients have medical treatments, medications, surgeries, all kinds of things, and they need them. It's not something they cannot do. They might not have many good choices, but NuSpecies can be a good choice that they can add in, that you could add in. And for most of our clients, they are living in that gray area of wanting to heal, but needing medical treatments that are also causing some damage. And so NuSpecies can fill in that gray area, not only with our advice and our guidance, but with our formulas, raw, organic, liquid, plant-based products that are very powerful and can support your body systems, which means your cardiovascular system, your bones, your digestive system, your immune system, all of the systems.
Your genes, your DNA, your genome, which is a system.
All of the systems that your body depends on to fight for you, they get harmed often with medications and medical treatments, even though you need those treatments. And so if you can get the best of both worlds, that's why we have seen so much success with our clients over the years. Now, that's not to say that we don't have perfectly healthy clients who just use our products like supplements. And then we have other clients who reject the medical system and are totally depending on us. But for most people, they're somewhere in between. And we've developed a unique expertise over these 18 years. And when we celebrate NuSpecies birthday, we do reflect back on and think of how far we've come, how much knowledge we've gained, and how much we want to continue to share with you. And that makes this show really important. It makes it important for you to be on our email list, on our text list, downloading our app, because that's where we disseminate a lot of information. We're designing a new pamphlet right now that is going to give you all the information we could think that would be actively useful to you while using our formulas, especially if you're someone who's rebuilding your health. And we're going to be releasing that in digital form this coming week. And then we'll have printed versions as well at the store for you to keep at home and share with family and friends. And if you have any other suggestions for how you'd like us to share more education, we have so much to share, and we'd love to mail you things. So if you want to be on our mailing list, just make sure we have your address. If we've ever shipped you anything, we have your address. But if you don't think that we do, just email it to us. We'll add it to your account.
And you speak of the knowledge we have gathered from doing the NuSpecies practice. Now, why is that knowledge important? That knowledge is important because, singularly because, of the tens of thousands of you we have helped worldwide. Tens of thousands of you. That's why that knowledge is critical. And we're using that knowledge in order to make our practice be able to even help more people, to help you more, and to help more people. That's why what we do is so important, and you need to be part of it.
Yeah, and what we would love today to celebrate NuSpecies' birthday, if you're coming on a little bit late into the show, is to give us some love in the chat. Let us know how NuSpecies has impacted you, even if it's not like a specific testimonial. For it could just be, that NuSpecies has been helpful to you. And we appreciate Headley's comment. I'll put it back up there, and we love more of those, and I'll take screenshots of those. I do share these comments online or in our email newsletter, but I always gray out your name if I haven't asked you for permission. But if you give us permission, let us know, and I'd love to continue to share all of your success stories with our community. Okay, the other thing I need to tell you is that we're prepping for Men and Women's Health Month, which is a tradition we used to have a long time ago when we were on Irie Jam Radio. And now we haven't done it since we've been off the radio, but we want to revive it. So Men and Women's Health Month comes in September and October. Which one is which? I think men's is September?
Yeah.
All right, so Men's Health Month is in September, and then October is Women's Health Month at NuSpecies, and we're going to be doing a lot of education on particular topics that are most important. We'll probably be doing like a special Zoom that you can register for in each month, where we can talk more specifically about men and women's health issues. And we also want to feature one of you on each episode during those months to talk about the men or women's health issue that you got help with. So if you'd like to volunteer yourself to our generous and kind, gentle hands on the show, we'd love to have you.
And if you don't volunteer, we may just become tyrants.
I'm going to start calling y'all.
Yes.
So let us know. We're prepping all of that now in the month of August. So if we can have the privilege of having a conversation with you on our show in September or October, we need I don't know if there's 5 weeks in September or October, but 4 to 5 folks in each month to share your stories on our live stream.
And we want all of you to join, men and women, boys and girls, because it is critical. A lot of the issues affecting women don't affect men. A lot of the issues affecting men do not affect women. But we all have women and girls in our lives, guys. And likewise, women, you have men and boys in your lives. And I can tell you, a lot of our clients around the world are children. They're children, and they're girls and boys in their teens, their 20s. So all of you should join, because there may be something there for someone you know, if it's not for you, for someone you know, to pass the knowledge or the information along to.
All right, so let's get into our questions.
Okay.
We've got, let's see, just want to make sure. Okay, Fitzgerald's asking, what is the best time to take the sleep package? I keep waking up 3 to 4 in the morning.
Bedtime. You're going to bed, you're going to walk into bed, you take it right as you're walking into bed. Don't take it and sit there and, watch TV, Fitzgerald, or whatever you do, chit chat with family and friends in Canada or around the world.
Especially if you're staring at a screen.
I'm disclosing some of Fitzgerald's personal life, his family in Canada. Sorry, Fitzgerald. But bedtime, take it at bedtime, and you're walking into your bed in your pajamas. That's when you take it. Okay.
All right. Barrington asks, when is the best time to take probiotics? So I would say there is no best time. You're going to take them every day. pretty much. So probiotics in our case is Lactobacillus acidophilus. This is a living bacteria that is very friendly and helpful in your digestive tract. But many things kill these friendly guys off, like eating sugar, stress, lack of sleep, not drinking enough water, no exercise,
Medication.
eating things like meat and dairy and processed foods that have no fiber. And if you don't give the bacteria something to eat, they die off. So if you want them to take up permanent residence in your gut, you need to feed them lots of fruits and vegetables. The reason we'll take probiotics every day is because we actually have to keep repopulating our digestive tract because our lifestyle keeps killing off all the good guys. So in this case, you really just need to take them every day. If you are working on a more severe health or digestive health issue, you can take them up to 4 times a day. So it's really just spreading it out. I usually take kind of like one large dose in the morning just because I know I'm going to forget it another time in the day. But it's really just getting them in every day and then doing your best to feed them so they stay alive, which means eating lots of plant-based foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and whole grains. All right. We have answered all the questions. So either you're going to help us keep celebrating by putting some lovely comments in here in the chat, or you're going to start asking more questions, folks.
Don't make Jillian beg.
Otherwise, I mean, it's Saturday. We can just end the stream now.
No. We're not going to end it now. We're going to talk more about.
We have lots of that we can say, but we want to make sure your questions are answered first.
Right. You know, I really, we're going to spend a lot more work on giving you all, you know, the literature you need to spread the word about NuSpecies. You've been asking for it. And I know you have a lot of family members and friends. I think that each of you who have referred family members and friends, maybe only 1% are actually coming to see us or calling us, right? You tell us. So what we want to do over the next week or two, Jill, we want to create the literature to pass along to you, whether by email or text or hard copies that you can pass along to friends and families. And I think that's going to make a huge difference in them calling us or coming to see us, so you can get them, you know, the help that you know they need. Some of them, they need help very desperately.
Yeah. And we know we get in the way of you spreading the word because we don't really give you good written literature or, you know, anything easy to forward or pass along. And you're kind of stuck with like, just trust me, go try it, go try it. And then to get someone to spend $100 on their health is incredibly challenging. And if they need to spend more than that, forget about it. So we're trying to help you spread the word by better explaining what we do and putting it in writing so you can pass it along to others.
Right.
We do have a submitted question. If you're on the show, Maxine, I will answer your question. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh gosh. This is the big one. Okay. So Maxine is saying, I take the B vitamins complex, but after my recent blood work, my doctor asked if I'm on vitamin B. There are multiple B vitamins, so you know, maybe they asked about a specific one. I told her yes, and then she asked if it contains methyl. I'm sure she's referring to the methylcobalamin versus the cyanocobalamin, which we use. She said I should take one with methyl support. Okay. This is a big topic. I attempted to write up some education about this, and it turned into like 6 pages of information, and our team was like, how am I supposed to explain this to anyone? This thing has gotten across the medical and supplement industry. I don't know if anybody has heard of this, that if you're taking vitamin B12, there's this whole line of thinking, or I don't know. It's the kind of
schools of thought,
let's say,
yeah,
that are being presented as fact, which is frustrating. And it is all related to cobalamin. So cobalamin is vitamin B12. Cobalamin is its form when it is in food. So when you eat food that contains B vitamins or B12, you are getting cobalamin. When you isolate a vitamin from its natural source, it has to be stabilized because it will instantly oxidize once removed from, let's say, a vegetable. You pull the B vitamins out in a scientific process, they will oxidize. They have to be stabilized, which usually means like attached to some other chemical. Not all chemicals are dangerous. So when I say the word chemical, don't think that, because vitamins themselves are chemicals. They have to be stabilized by being attached to another chemical, which is like its delivery system so that it can live outside of the original food source and you can consume it. Now, two main ways out there for stabilizing cobalamin is methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin has been used for decades, at least that we know of, that we have used it, and we have successfully supplemented all of our bodies and all of our clients' bodies with cyanocobalamin with no problem. In fact, when I did genetic testing,
Never had a complaint.
Right. The only complaints that come up are now that people that are hearing about this methylcobalamin and being told it's the better form are, then they're like, wait, is there something wrong here? There's nothing wrong here. And if you have any questions or you know about this, you can put it in the chat and I will try to guide my explanation because this is not a simple one. And if you want us to talk about something else, just ask another question and I will wrap it up.
Or just trust us.
Yeah. So, because we've done a lot of research with this and we've circled back to our manufacturing team and our herbalists and scientists that we have on our team. And there is just the science claiming that methylcobalamin is somehow better or safer is just not making sense as far as why cyanocobalamin would not be helpful. Now, when I was going through my pregnancy, I got genetic testing and I found out that I had the MTHFR genetic SNP, which is the thing you'll usually hear about, that like a lot of people have this SNP in their genetics that is makes it their methylation cycle or like the digestive processes or like metabolism processes in our bodies are a little bit different, and therefore we can't process the cyanocobalamin. It needs to be the methylcobalamin. Okay. I've taken the cyanocobalamin for all the years of NuSpecies. I've been with NuSpecies for 17 years. So for 17 years, and have never had a problem with my B12 or any of my vitamin levels. And I've never had any sort of negative side effects. If anything, I feel amazing when I'm actively using our products. So that was the one main reason I keep hearing. Now, some people will call us and say, I heard that cyanocobalamin is the synthetic version of B12 and methyl is the natural version. Not true. The only natural version of cobalamin is cobalamin, and that is in food, or it is produced by bacteria in your gut. So the only truly natural way to get B12 is it's either in the food you eat, which it's not in super high amounts in most food. The real way humans get B12 is when the bacteria in your gut produce it. So the cyanocobalamin that we actually use when we do isolate vitamins, which is really rare, but when we do, when you see cyanocobalamin on our supplement facts, that has actually been produced by bacteria naturally. That is the natural process. Bacteria produces cyanocobalamin. So it's actually it's not made in a lab in the sense that like it actually came from nature. It didn't get completely like created synthetically by humans. The real thing that gets me here is when science, I'll say in general, or supplement companies or doctors talk about cyanocobalamin not being as good as methylcobalamin. Have they studied raw cobalamin, right? So like cyanocobalamin that we use is actually cold processed in our products. Vitamins are heat sensitive. When heat is applied during a manufacturing process, which is most manufacturing processes, that cobalamin or cyano or methyl will get destroyed, and your body actually can't use it anyway. So when they're studying cyanocobalamin and saying it's not effective or it could be hard to process, are they studying one that has either been completely made in a lab, never came from nature, like not produced by bacteria like ours, and has it then been processed with heat to get it into a supplement form? Most likely yes to both of those answers. So when we are saying, is the cyanocobalamin that is in NuSpecies formula, is it going to hurt me or is it not going to be useful? That information is not really applying to our products because we cold process. So not only have we gotten cyanocobalamin because it's been created by bacteria in a natural process, but it then was not processed with heat when we put it into our product. So you're talking about a completely different animal when you're thinking about the cyanocobalamin in the form it is in our products and what might be being talked about out there in the world. But when someone says to you that that methylcobalamin is like the natural form of cobalamin or B12 and cyano is not, it's not true. They're both synthesized because cobalamin is the natural form of B12 and it cannot exist outside of its natural form without oxidizing. So it has to be stabilized synthetically. And so both are technically a synthetic form. So if you want to really be a purist about B12, you need to either eat an extremely healthy diet with lots of fiber so that the bacteria in your gut can just produce it for you because that's actually how it's made. Yeah, that's the only way if you want to be a purist about it, truthfully. In the end, methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin are both going to be synthesized. And in most cases, if you're getting it from supplements that are not cold processed like NuSpecies, it's useless to you anyway. Even if it's a methyl one, let's say methyl was better, it's still useless if it's been processed with heat because vitamins are heat sensitive. Does this make sense? I hope this answers your question. Diana, okay, great. Thank you to Jillian for explaining the vitamin cold processing. Yes. So, and just to be clear, because some people think when we're saying cold processing that we're saying cold pressed. Cold pressed is referred to juice. Like if you were to like literally press really hard fruits or vegetables to get the juice out, that's not what we're doing. We're cold processing, meaning that when we process our products to put the herbs into a form that you can drink, there no heat is applied during that process. Okay.
And
have I covered it?
You have covered it, and I only have a couple pennies
Okay.
to add to that.
Okay.
And you all can, I like to say you should Google it, but try to get it information from a reputable site, a reputable company, a reputable organization or scientific organization. So cyano bacteria, people, is one of the first bacteria in Earth history to produce oxygen. And that bacteria evolved to, not entirely, but maybe its cousins evolved to become plant. You should Google that. And you'll see part of the history or the scientific, background of how we think of foods that are healthy, foods that are natural, foods that are from nature. And as Jillian has pointed out, we don't make anything in labs. All our ingredients are from natural sources. So, and the reason why you want to use the NuSpecies B vitamins with the B6, especially B6 and B12, a lot of you have been telling me that you're taking this synthetic form of glutathione. Well, guess what? If you want to get your body to produce glutathione, you need to be taking a natural B vitamins with B6 and B12, because those are the two vitamins in nature, in Earth nature, that can help your body to produce glutathione. Glutathione, for those of us who don't know, is the most critical enzyme that our body uses to fight off diseases, including cancer. It's probably the most important enzyme in our bodies. So between what Jill said and my couple pennies, you understand what we do, but what we do with our NuSpecies and why we get the results we get. So if you're going to judge us on our success in helping all these many, many tens of thousands of people, use that to judge us. If you are, I'm not saying this particular question is doing that. I think this client is just trying to get clarification, because you're hearing one thing from your doctors and you're hearing one thing from us. And that's why we are integrative, because we look at the medical perspectives, we examine them, we see where they, and you see they where the medicine is working for you or not working for you. And that's why you're here with us, because you know that we can help you, and we want to make sure if you're taking your medication, you're getting help from your doctors as well. So you get help from your doctors and you get help from NuSpecies. That's what we're all about. And that's why we consult with you. That's why we're a consulting company as well. We consult with you and your labs and your images, or the reports from your images, your diagnosis from your doctors, your notes, handwritten notes from your doctors, we communicating with your doctors. That's another reason why we are successful, because we support whatever you do with your doctors. And we're going to guide you to make sure you're getting the best medical support from your doctors. And you all know that. That's what we're about. But research cyanocobalamin, and you'll see that it's a bacteria. It's from a bacteria that produced the first oxygen on planet Earth.
And if you do some other research, you'll even find, I researched a lot. I spent like a whole weekend and it just kept going in circles. But you'll even find some sources will say that to create methylcobalamin, they start with cyanocobalamin. So it's all very, very confusing. And in the end, I feel like we are splitting hairs about something that is completely pointless if the product you end up taking is either completely made in a lab, it never came from nature anyway, and if it was processed with heat. Then you could be taking whatever the best version of B12 is, and it's still useless. So,
Right.
June, I would say it's highly unlikely, especially if you're taking a tablet, that the B12 you are taking is not synthetic or processed with heat or even digestible. Because if it's a tablet, it has to be able to break up in your small intestine. Otherwise, you're not absorbing that nutrition. And you can test that by putting it in vinegar for 15 minutes. And if it hasn't fully dissolved, you are not absorbing it anyway, even if it's the best product in the world.
The other side of this question is synthetic foods, whatever they are, whether they're vitamins, minerals, or the foods, we buy in cans and bottles, they can cause significant damage to our organs. And that's why we are natural. That's why we use natural sources. So that's the other side of this question. Ensure that whatever you're taking is from a natural source. I would say the exception is your medication that you should take.
Right. So, and this is where it's tough because you assume that if it's not medication, it's a supplement that makes it natural. It says it's a vitamin. That must mean it's natural. But unfortunately, just because it shares the same name doesn't mean it actually is the thing you think you're getting. And I told the story once on the show before, and I'll say it again. Your friend says, "Hey, June, you want to come have lunch with George Clooney and me tomorrow?" And you're like, "Oh, absolutely. Oh my God." So you get there, you're so excited, you show up to the restaurant, you get to the table, and your friend is like, "Hey, here, meet my nephew, George Clooney." And you're like, "Oh, okay."
Not that one.
So that wasn't what I thought was happening. And that's pretty much all of these supplement industry and most of the supplement industry that we have seen is that, yes, it says B12, maybe it says methylcobalamin. Does that mean that it is going to be, that it is actually natural? No, it doesn't mean that. Does it mean your body can actually use it? No, it doesn't mean that. Unfortunately, when it comes to vitamin K and vitamin B12, they are produced by bacteria and they are supposed to be produced in your gut when you eat a lot of plant-based foods. Sugar, stress, processed foods, meat, dairy, things like that are going to wipe out all that helpful bacteria in your gut. And so that's why we rely on probiotics to try to get the bacteria to take up more permanent residence in our gut. And then that bacteria is supposed to produce those vitamins. So the alternative is really that ultimately you're probably always going to be low on these vitamins. When you choose to supplement, you have to be really careful about it because you could end up hurting yourself by taking something that's not only useless to the body, but maybe could harm you. And so either you accept that maybe these are things you're going to be low on unless you really change your diet and your lifestyle, or you're going to take a formula like ours, which we don't really like to isolate vitamins. I don't know if B12 is something we might consider isolating for people who want to take higher doses, but we do prefer the B12 be taken along with all the other
Family.
Bs in a family, because that's really how the body processes nutrition.
Mhm.
So you're already taking L-Nu9, June, and that has the 100% daily value of B vitamins, including the B12, but maybe a minimum of 100%. You're actually getting a lot more than that. But you might need to get the B vitamins as well separately and just take an extra dose, and then see how much it can go up with this natural source. You're going to take the synthetic one, and despite whether it's helping you or not, it's going to make it show up in your blood. So they're going to be like, great, your B12 is up. But does that mean anything has actually changed? Have all of the wonderful health benefits, the domino effect of a real vitamin in your bloodstream, have those things happened? Or is it just kind of surface level? My labs say it's normal now. I mean, we see people with stage 4 cancer who are dying, whose labs are normal. It doesn't mean that they're healthy. So it's annoying, it's complicated, but that's kind of the truth. Like, in some aspects of supplementation, they're just not going to be ideal, even when you're doing it as good as NuSpecies does. And B12 is going to be one of those tough ones because it's really dependent on a plant-based diet.
And any one of you who have low vitamins, the vitamins in your bodies are low. If you have any vitamin that is low, it means that there's something that your body, your liver is not processing. There's an issue. There's an issue causing that. Very rarely someone can have a low mineral or a low vitamin or a high mineral in the lab reports, or high vitamin, where it's the vitamin itself. It's very, very rare. So when that happens, some processing errors are taking place, likely at the genetic level, people. So you should always remember that. Don't focus on that mineral that's low, whether it's your sodium, your chloride in your metabolic panel, or your B6, your B12. If it's low or it's too high, there's some processing errors taking place that you need to fix. That's just a symptom. Everything you see in your lab report is a symptom. Everything you see in your imaging reports, MRI, CAT scan, PET scan, all of them are symptoms. The medical system is geared to look at symptoms, to treat symptoms, not to treat the root cause of the issue. So any of you who have those sort of issues in your lab reports, stop focusing on that and look at, maybe the only exception is your vitamin D. So all our cells have receptors, and that's where they store vitamins and minerals. So that's why when the storage is too high or too low, something else is going on. Yes.
I was going to say, so Maxine said, thanks for your response. She did explain the two to me, but continued by saying I should find out if mine contains methyl. So the answer is no, right? We use cyanocobalamin, not methylcobalamin. We don't find that there is any difference practically in our experience, not just ours, but our team has over 40 years experience, even before we all partnered way back in the day. So, the bottom line is, I know that this is your doctor saying this, but we're going to pull rank here in the sense that we actually manufacture supplements.
We're experts.
So this is what we do. Maybe your doctor also manufactures supplements and knows something else, but I would say we literally source these things from the people who make them. We manufacture them in our own facility here in the United States. So it really, as far as we can tell, unless that B12 is raw and processed without heat, it doesn't matter if it's methyl anyway. So if you can find, I mean, if you are not feeling confident with the form that we provide, totally fine. It's okay. You don't have to use our product. I just don't know that you're going to find another liquid raw B12 anywhere else. And once again, you could kind of avoid supplementing it altogether if you just like live a really healthy lifestyle, which ultimately is going to benefit you in 100,000 other ways. And it's going to pay off so much more than whether you're taking methyl or cyanocobalamin. So it's like we're just sort of splitting hairs here and reverse engineering nature in the way that it works and trying to come in from the back end instead of just taking care of it the right way. for long-term, really great health.
It's very rare we've had I appreciate this question, by the way. It's very rare we've had a
Yes.
question that takes up more than half of our show.
It's so complicated, and it basically, this question covers everything about the supplement industry
The
that makes
natural
us
world,
crazy.
the natural world, and the synthetic world.
And it's all just baked into this one topic about cobalamin.
Yep.
So it's so frustrating too, because like we look at our labs, or we see things are high or low, or we have a symptom or a disease, and we just want to hyper focus on that,
Mhm.
when the problem is really like the bigger picture. It's almost like I've been a painter in my life. So like I have a canvas, and I know what I want to paint, and I'm like trying to change my painting to fit what I want in it, when the real issue is the canvas I've chosen is just too small. Right. And now I'm like torturing myself over whether I should frame it this way or that way, or should I go from this angle or that angle, when really the issue is my canvas is just too small. So it's like, at NuSpecies, I feel like what we're doing all the time is just trying to like, you're lost in the weeds, and we're just trying to pluck you out so you can like see the sun again, and like look at the bigger picture, like see the forest from the trees. That is like the theme of almost everything with supplementation, is see the forest from the trees. You'll easily get lost in the forest if you just start focusing this much on all these individual vitamins and minerals.
All right.
Whew. I think we're done now. By the way,
I need a drink.
Maxine snuck in that question by going to the NuSpecies app and submitting her question on the app, and then it popped right into my email, and I grabbed it and got it onto the show, and we can do that for you. So if anytime throughout the week you are like, oh, I want to get on the Q&A and ask this, and you're afraid you're going to forget, just go right to the NuSpecies app, submit the question, it'll get into my email, and then we'll have it queued up to answer on the next Q&A.
I thought I saw a couple of questions this past week, Mary, in my email.
There was one, but the gentleman was asking about how he can send you his lab. So I asked Crystal to call him directly. But if you are wondering how you can send your labs to NuSpecies, you can email them to June. Breathe, Jillian.
June,
okay.
she needs a drink.
Thank you. Thank you, June. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Oxygen. Oxygenate the body is the number one cure for all diseases. I can use the word cure. Oxygen is the number one cure of all diseases.
I get very worked up about these topics. I want to help people so bad. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Mary. So you can email labs to support@nuspecies.com, or you can fax them to the number here. I'll pop that up here in case you can see. These are all confidential, HIPAA compliant ways of us receiving this information from you. And then we store it in a HIPAA compliant electronic medical records system, an EMR. And although we are not a medical practice, we still choose to pay for that kind of software to protect the information that you give to us.
So I'd like to touch back on that prior question just a little bit. A lot of you who have certain issues, right? It's these chemicals, compounds, synthetic compounds, synthetic chemicals made in labs as foods, as supplement that we eat from time to time. We give it to our children. That is probably, beside bacterial infections, the number one cause of all the cancers I have come across in over 20 years of doing NuSpecies. And I look at a lot of studies, hundreds of studies over the years that have looked at this very, very closely. Bacterial infection and diseases including cancer, and these chemicals, these synthetic compounds in foods and supplements, the vitamins and minerals, some people are taking. Those two are probably the number one causes of the cancers that I've come across, and it's cancers across the board. So what these chemicals do, these compounds, they interact with the DNA, because the DNA are made from natural chemicals like hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, carbon, etc. Right? So these compounds interact with the DNA and cause a mutation, and the mutation causes the genes to go bad, and then the genes start producing I like to call it inferior proteins. The amino acids are inferior proteins. And then the organs start to fall apart. We get tumors and cysts and lumps and all these mass in our organs leading to, the different diseases. So I want you all to just understand that's why we are natural. That's why we are completely natural. That's why all our formulas are natural. That's why all our formulas are completely natural. So it is because we know this. And I think it's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why we are so successful in helping people to live better and live longer around the world.
And this morning we were talking, and Aston was saying how like because we're writing up this rebuilding pamphlet that we want to give to everybody, and we're talking about how valuable we believe our consulting practice is because we are often trying to save people from themselves. Like it's so easy to get lost in all this information, and then like your doctor is hyper focusing on something, and so now you're like, oh well, this is so my doctor wants to focus on, even if it's like Aston was saying is like let's say you have a tumor in your breast and the doctor is fixated on the tumor. It's like this, Aston pointed to his finger. He's like, right here, this is the problem. But NuSpecies keeps reminding you this is not the problem. This is the symptom, the most obvious symptom of the problem. The problem is still the environment. So remember the forest from the trees. The problem is still the environment in your body that allowed this to grow and mutate and become malignant. So just plucking this out or just like adding in that methylcobalamin is not solving the problem ultimately. It might be a necessary step at this point in time, but it's not the end of the story. And so, yes, we might need to do these little things here and there, a surgery, a remedy. All of these things have their role. But what we keep reminding you is it's one little blip in your journey. We are trying to guide you to do all the other things that actually restore long-term powerful health. That picture is much bigger and wider than just this tumor right here or this B12 at this time in my life. Hope that makes sense.
And that is why that environment, that forest, the environment, the body's environment, that's why that little dot, a centimeter, a few millimeter, whether it's a lesion, it's a tumor, it's a cyst, it's a mass, the doctors will use chemotherapy or radiation and destroy it, right? And then what happened a year later, 6 months later, a year later, you're told that the cancer is in your bone, it's in the lung, it's in all the different parts of your body, is because those parts of your body were weakening already. They were damaged already. Maybe not showing up on a scan or in a blood report, but they were damaged already. And that's why when you work with NuSpecies, we work on rebuilding your whole body. You've heard us saying it 1,000 times. Yes, you have breast cancer. Yes, you have prostate cancer. Yes, you have diabetes, blood pressure that are localized to an organ. But if you have any of those, it means that there are other parts of the body that are compromised. And that's why diabetes can destroy kidneys, destroy the heart, destroy the brain, destroy blood vessels, blood pressure the same. And that's why cancer can spread so quickly. There's no surprise there from any doctor because they know that the environment in the body was too weak to fight that little tumor, that little cyst, that little mass, that little lesion. The environment of the body was not strong enough. The systems Julian mentioned weren't strong enough to fight that one little thing. So that one symptom that shows up in one place, it doesn't mean that the whole body is safe. In most cases that I have seen, the whole body is never safe until you do something to rebuild it. And that's why we do the consultation. That's why we're a consulting practice, because we look at all of these things, but we review your labs and your imaging. We'll look at all of these things. And when we make a recommendation, that's why it's not, if you have a chronic health issue, that's why it's not one little bottle or one little herb or two little herbs that you would see on Facebook or, let's say social media. I don't want to call all these platforms, but a lot of you, Dr. Facebook, Dr. YouTube,
Dr. TikTok.
Dr. TikTok are your doctors. Face it. They are your doctors. And the people who are giving you that information are not scientists. They don't know anything about what they're saying. And because it's on the platform and you trust the platform, you follow it to your detriment. So that's why we're here to call you out,
Just to keep bringing you back to
to make
reality.
to make you live long,
Yeah.
better and longer.
Yeah. I mean, Maxine, I totally understand if you really feel like you need to go find methylcobalamin. I just will tell you, like, if it's not raw, and if it's not liquid, if it's a tablet that isn't going to dissolve in your small intestine, you're still not going to get the benefits from it. So yes, you will have satisfied that superficial goal of like thinking you're finding the better version because your doctor says it's better. And yes, I mean, there's tons of people on the internet who are going to tell you it's better. But from the herbal and nutritional companies who've been doing this for over 50 years, you will find them and us and some other supplement companies that I have followed over the years will continue to insist that there, in most cases, is no significant difference between the two. And there is no danger with cyanocobalamin, as we know from all of our experience with it. And that, again, if it's processed with heat, it's useless anyway.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Suzanne. She's always reminding folks to like and share. Please do. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please subscribe today before you leave. And if you're on Instagram, we will time out in another 5 minutes. They only let us do an hour on Insta. So if you want to stay with us, just come on over to YouTube. I do want to let all of you know about some upcoming closures at the stores. So our employees have some vacation days planned. So on August 11th, which is Monday, August 11th through that Saturday, which I believe is the 16th, Elmont will be closed. So Ashley will be on vacation and Elmont will be closed. Okay, great. We'll get to that. Thank you, Mary. And also, Bronxville will be closed on Friday, August 22nd and Saturday, August 23rd. So just a weekend closure there in Bronxville and an entire week closure for Elmont. The good news is if the store is closed, you can go on our website and place an order for in-store pickup. So that way you can not forget to order your products. And then as soon as the store reopens, you can go pick them up. So anytime a store is closed, you don't have to wait or hold back on placing your order. You can just go online and place your order and choose the local store to you for pickup.
And if you were going to purchase during the time Ashley will be out in Elmont, then you should purchase now so you can be covered for that week. And then, call us if you have any questions about the closure.
I can't believe I missed this comment from Georgia. Georgia, thank you so much for saying this.
Georgia in your mind?
Yeah, now for sure. NuSpecies, you're doing an awesome job. I see the testimonies. I've had my A1C move from predicates, I feel like that might be a typo, to within the normal ranges within a few months of taking your products. Georgia, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's tough to share personal information on the live, but when we hear those testimonials, it really is so motivating. It's wonderful. Thank you. Oh, prediabetes from prediabetes. Got it. Thank you. That's excellent. All right. We're happy to continue to answer like maybe one more question. I'll check my email and see if anyone went on the app and submitted something.
If not, I just want to put it out there for all of you that a lot of people who are coming to us with certain type of issues, they have infections, bacterial infections. So there are a group of very powerful and deadly bacteria that have been spreading around the world. And the bacteria is attacking people's bodies. And the antibiotics are not working. A lot of people who have come to us, they have taken antibiotics many, many times over. And what happens, based on what we know, the bacteria has mutated.
Right.
And the mutated bacteria is now incapable of being destroyed by the antibiotics, even the strongest antibiotics. And it's causing a lot of deaths. It's causing a lot of people to die worldwide, from 1 to 5 million. And some of these people who are dying is because the bacteria has caused, the infection has killed millions. But beyond that, the infection has caused other diseases like cancers that are killing people. So it's a very, very, very large number of people around the world who are getting sick, probably because of global warming. But a lot of studies are like linking these more deadly bacteria that are servicing to the COVID virus. The COVID virus has mutated probably thousands of times since the pandemic. So there are a lot of cousins out there, and some of those cousins are causing bacteria to get which are different. Because the COVID attack our bodies and cause a lot of inflammation and damage to cells and tissues and DNA, the bacteria are strength. Once they get in our body, they're very strong and they can cause further damage because they too interact with our genes and DNA just like viruses. So when you do your blood tests, also do a urine test. And if you have any issues in your urine, you see bacteria is referenced in there or rare bacteria is referenced in there, or you see your leukocyte esterase, which usually means you have a UTI, call us or come see us or come talk to us because you could be in trouble, especially if you have other underlying conditions.
But there's always something we can do.
Yes, we will rebuild your immune system.
I was still asking, don't give all the bad news if you're not going to say what can be done.
We will rebuild your immune system, and the God-given immune system, people, when it's strong, when it's powerful, when all those white blood cells are working together, the lymphocytes, the monocytes, no bacteria and no cancer cells should survive in your body when it gets that strong. And the issue, though, is to rebuild it. So come to us before things are so bad that your body is so damaged that your body probably won't be able to fix itself. And that's what happened to some people. If the damage is so bad in the bone marrow, the liver, the cardiovascular system in general, because that's what support our health. If that is torn apart, destroyed by diseases, it's a lot harder to fix it.
Yeah, and I'll say that, it's best to work with NuSpecies, and you could tell your family and friends this as well now before you get too overwhelmed with medical problems, because it's an adjustment to start taking any new products, but also our formulas, they don't taste great, right? Like they're real nutrition. So it's not an easy thing to just get used to and incorporate into your life. And you don't want to be trying to do that at the same time that you're dealing with a severe health problem and hospitalizations and all kinds of other medications. When things get more complicated, it's so much harder to do the things that you really want to do to get healthy again. So it's great if you've already got your NuSpecies protocol under your belt, you're used to the products, you're used to taking them every day. And then when other issues arise, because they always will for all of us, it's only a matter of what do I need to change or adjust or add in. So I would encourage you to do that, because the other thing that will happen is even your medical options will start to become limited if certain treatments or medications contraindicate other treatments or medications you need. So you can get stuck in a pretty tough bind, and we see this happen a lot. You don't want to be adding on that on top of trying to get started with NuSpecies. It really is overwhelming, and we want you to feel empowered and like you've got the support that you need and you know what you need to do. So let's start practicing from now. So you're composed and ready for action when the inevitable does happen. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here and celebrating NuSpecies' 18th birthday. We are 18 years old. It's so hard to believe. Aston saw my LinkedIn profile the other day and he was like, 17 years? What?
Where did those years go?
Yeah. I guess I still feel so new.
Good.
To you in your life.
Good. Good. And NuSpecies feels new as well. We're always evolving. We're always getting new knowledge, new information we're going to share with you and your family and your friends. We really keep our eyes and ears out for really great information. But you know what? The best information we have gotten, the information comes from you.
Right, that's what I was just thinking. I was going to say, if you didn't say it, is talking to you. We learned so much, and
your labs, your imaging, your urine, it has all of that.
Your
And
anecdotal experiences.
Yeah,
It helps us serve you better, and it helps us like warn and educate the next person who doesn't know what they might be in for. So we hope it's a win-win relationship. We really do love what we do and serving you. So come to the Q&A ready with your questions or your concerns or your experiences,
or
and
come to listen.
and keep yes, but also just to keep us learning from you and to give us something to learn back and invite your friends and family. So when we send the email each week, we always after the show put up the next show, so you can share the YouTube links of the previous shows we've done with your friends and family, or you can send them the link to the upcoming show. And if you download our app, you can submit your question at any time. Sandra, thank you so much. She says, wishing you many more years. We depend on all of you for that. So as long as you keep engaging and share and spreading the word, we will absolutely do everything in our power to stay here in whatever that looks like over time. Yvonne says, blessings. Thank you.
On a final note, we're hiring for Bronxville and Elmont, and I know you all know everybody, and we want to get some really good candidates from you that we can talk to, and please help us out here.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to close when our employees take their well-deserved vacations. We'd rather not close. We'd rather have someone else to be able to cover for them. So we do need a second person in both Bronxville and Elmont, and Shania and Ashley would really appreciate it because they always feel guilty when they have to take off because they don't want to close the store. I know Ashley in particular gets very stressed about the thought. She always says, I don't want my clients to show up to a locked door. And we love that she cares for all of you so much. So if we could help her out, if you could give us some great referrals to some wonderful people who are looking for either just like consistent part-time work, because it does have to be long-term, or a career. We have both options available.
And thank you in advance.
Yeah, you can just send those over to support at NuSpecies.com or Jillian at NuSpecies.com, Jillian with a J, and we would love to take your referrals. Also, we'll be promoting the positions in upcoming email newsletters and on the app, so you can always share those as well. All right, well, thank you so much. This weekend is going to be is becoming very beautiful and should stay that way. So I hope you enjoy it. Take a walk, get some fresh air, breathe, as June said. Breathe, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Yes, bye-bye. Until.